Hello, everybody. My name is Zion Bassi, your favorite brand development consultant, a motivational speaker. And today I have something very striking I want to share with you. It's going to change your life. I want to share with you briefly about the 7 habits that is making you poor. The 7 habits in that if you don't change them, you are not gonna be rich. Even if you make more money, even if you have a better job, even if you start a better business, if you don't drop these 7 habits, you ain't gonna be richer or be wealthier. I'm gonna take them one by one, and I believe it's gonna be the best thing you have seen on YouTube. It's gonna be the best thing that you have seen today if you don't scroll past it. Number 1, starting a new relationship all the time. For young people, for single people, starting a new relationship is what takes your money without your knowing. And if you're married, divorce, of course, takes more than half of your wealth. If you're facing a divorce, you're going to spend almost half, or if not, or at least half of your wealth. So starting a new relationship all the time takes your money without your knowing. So if you're a young man, you cannot keep a girlfriend for long, you are in for doom. You are in for doom. Your name is doom. Your second name is doom. Because you have to service it. Every new relationship you start needs your servicing, needs your show working, needs your effort. And that effort you could have compounded to advance your business, to advance your life. So if you start a new relationship, know that you are into another thing that is making you spend money. So instead of looking for new girlfriends all the time, look for how to make your current girlfriend your perfect or your best girlfriend. I hope you heard that. Instead of going about looking for the perfect one for you, make the one you have a perfect. Make the one you have perfect. Okay, make the one you have the perfect one. Because starting a new relationship takes your money without your knowing. Because you have to service it. You have to maintain the relationship. You have to, even the time you spend in rallying the relationship is the time you could have spent on your job, the time you could have spent on your business to advance it. That is number 1, starting a new relationship all the time. Keep your babe, all right? Have patience on her. Nobody is perfect. Even the person that looks perfect from the outside, when you zoom in, you will see the scars that are hidden. Why not make your own woman perfect? By working on her strength, by focusing on her strength, instead of spending and wasting your money on new relationship all the time. Number 2, buying what you do not need. The second thing that makes people poor is that they buy by impulse. They buy by impulse. They see something, they jump at it. They don't spend their money on, with budgets. They don't budget their money. They just spend their money and they buy what they don't need. In life, if you buy what you don't need, you are going to sell what you need. You didn't hear that. If you like to buy what you don't need in life, a time will come soon, one of these days, you're going to sell what you need. So wisdom is, before you buy anything, look at it again. Do I need it now? Is it a need or a want? If it is a need, then how can I make money to buy it? Don't buy it with your salary. Don't buy luxury with the profit of your salary, of your business. And if you're working for somebody, you have no business, don't just jump at buying things. Before you buy anything, scale it if it is what you need at the moment. And buy it after you are saving. Buy it after your investments. Don't buy by impulse. Buying what you don't need is one way people waste money without knowing. I've been a victim of this habit. I will just jump at things. I see things I love. I just go buy it as long as there is money in my pocket. And before you know it, the money is over. And the thing I bought, I seldom use it. So make that habit, drop that habit. I had dropped it myself. Don't buy what you don't need if you want to compound your money and if you want to grow rich. Number 3, relocating to a new place all the time. One thing people don't know is that anytime you relocate to a new location, you spend more money. You spend more money to repaint the place, to renovate the place, to fix the place, to even transport your your household items to the new place. That is an extra money you could have used for something else. So before you rent a place, see that place as a place you can live at least for 5 years. For that 5 years, you could have earned double of the money and you could have moved out more conveniently. Or you could have built your own house and moved out. Right? Don't rent a place you're not sure you can stay for a longer time. Of course, you can just blow, you can make more money all of a sudden, and you need to move to a bigger place. That is an exception. But on a normal ground, every place you rent should be a place you can see yourself living in a foreseeable, in a short, time. Because relocating to a new place all the time takes your money without you knowing. It takes your money without you knowing. The other expenses in between are the things that make people spend their money without knowing, and makes people not reach their financial goals. The fourth ways you should not spend your money, the fourth habit you should drop if you want to be rich, is living to please people. I know of so many people who live to please people. They either send their children to a school they cannot afford, or they buy a car they cannot maintain just to level up, just to look like one of the people in town. Don't live to please people. You should not stretch to meet your daily survival expenses. Your survival expenses should run smoothly. You should not borrow to maintain your car. You should not borrow to pay your school, your children's school fees. You should not borrow to eat, right? Because there are things you can eat that will not even cost as much as what you have. There's a school you can send your child to that will not make you borrow, go looking for who to borrow. It is not about the school a child goes to, it's about the home training you give a child. Some of the greatest people on earth, on earth did not go to the best schools, but they employ people who went to the best schools. You didn't hear that. Most of the greatest people on earth, people you call great, those you call powerful, most of them did not go to the best of schools in their days. They went to the normal, regular schools. But now they employ those who went to the best of schools. So it is not about the school, it's about the home training, it's about the exposure you give your child. So do not kill yourself sending your child to an expensive school, trying to level up, trying to be like your colleague in the office, trying to be like someone else, trying to please someone else. Send your kid to a school you can be comfortable paying. Don't live in a house that you need to borrow money to complete the rent. Many people come to me to ask me for money to complete their house rent. And whenever they come, I see someone who has this habit, living to please people. Why must you live in that place? There are places at the outskirts of town you can live and still be fine. There are places you can pay the money you pay right now. The money you have, the money you can afford, and you'll be fine. Just move a bit from the city metropolis. Move a bit, you find a house you can afford. You can pay 100 naira or whatever, 100 naira maximum in most Nigerian towns and cities. It does not take more than 100 naira to get to town in most Nigerian townships. So why must you live in the city when you know your income cannot accommodate it, cannot afford it? Do not stretch to pay your house rent. Your house rent should be what you pay with at least 2 months. Your 2 months at most. Your 2 months income, right? Your 2 months salary should be able to pay your house rent, right? So do not live in a place you struggle to pay the rent. Move out to a place you can pay the rent with ease. When you make the money, you can now buy the estate. You can buy the estate and live wherever you want to live. But for a start, do not live where you can't afford. Don't do anything to please anybody. Don't do anything because someone else is doing it. You are not in a race with anybody. You were not born with anybody. You were born alone. Even if you are a twin, you came out alone. So don't live your life to please anybody. Live your life and purpose, and be patient with yourself. Number 5 reason people get broke, people don't get rich, is investing without knowledge. So many people are victims of this. I train many of them. They see an investment plan, opportunity, they see an investment platform, they jump at it without doing the due diligence, without studying the platform, without understanding how it works, without even knowing whether it is in line with their strength. Most people start things that are not in their strength. They start things that they cannot do naturally, things that are not their natural habitat. They are in their area of strength. Because a friend of theirs introduced them to it, they jump at it. Because someone is making it in it, they jump at it. Because it is a new thing in town, they jump at it. Because a celebrity is marketing it online or on TV, they jump at it. They invest without knowledge. Anything that deserves your money deserves your due diligence. Anything that deserves your money deserves your study. Do not invest where you've not studied. Study the platform. That does not mean you should analyze till you are paralyzed. I don't mean that you should analyze till you are paralyzed. No. Don't over-analyze, but have the basic knowledge of how it works and how it can work for you. And the long-term assurance, the long-term insurance you're going to have in that thing before you invest. It is better you stay focused on what you're doing and build it to the top than to be digging half ditches. Many people dig so many half ditches. They dig this one, they leave, they dig another one without getting to water, without getting to gold, because they invest without knowledge. By the time they realize that this thing cannot work for them, or they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the strength or the skill set, they've already sunk in their money. Whereas if they had studied before they invested, they could have saved that money. They could have done something else, something better with that money. Don't be like that person. Know before you invest. Study before you invest. Don't jump at every opportunity online, on TV, no matter who markets it. No matter who markets it. Study for yourself and see how it applies to you. I hope you are getting it. I hope you are getting value. The number 6 thing that makes people poor, that takes people money without their knowing, is over-ceremonial life. Over-ceremonial life. That is a life of ceremony. You are partying after party. Every Friday you are in the club. You spend at least 3 days in a club, party after party, party life. And each of these parties, you spend money carelessly. You may say, I'm going there with just an amount of money, but before you know it, as friends come, as the pressure mounts, you spend, beyond what you planned to save. To spend. Before you know it, the money you could have used for something better, you are using it in a party. You are using it in a ceremony. That should not be you. Do not live a ceremonial life. Don't live an outdoor life, an outward life, an outward rich life, and an inward empty life. Don't have an outward rich life and an inward empty life. You must not party every day. All right? Well, if you have to party, let it be that you have planned it, you have had the extra money for fun time, okay? Or if you must party, if you are a party type, then let it be that you have a budget for it. And don't make it a habit. And stick to that budget. Don't pass that budget, because partying, ceremonial life is one cause why people are spending their money and wasting their money without even knowing. The 7th way people spend money, waste money without even knowing, is servicing liability more than assets. In fact, this is left at the last so that I can emphasize it very well. It is about the strongest way people make money and about the strongest way people lose money. Servicing liability more than assets. Successful people service their assets more than their liabilities. And what is an asset? An asset is something that brings money to you, something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So rich people know this. They know that if you spend more on liability, you're going to be broke, you'll be poor. No matter how much you have, if you keep spending, dishing out without getting in, the tank will dry off. So what you do is, before you spend, ask yourself, is this thing a liability or an asset? Of course, there are some few liabilities you have to foot, like like um, like um, like just buying stuff for somebody or giving to the needy, right? Of course, your food is not a liability. Your food is an asset because it is keeping you strong and alive to even make money. The food you eat is not a liability, it's an asset. But if you overeat, if you eat when you are not hungry, it becomes a liability. If you overeat, it becomes a liability. The car you drive could be a liability or an asset. If the car is not giving you money, then you don't need to spend too much on the car. Your wife should not be a liability. A wife that is taking and not bringing should change, because she's a liability. Marry a woman that you know that will be able to add value. Marry a value-added woman if you want to be rich. Don't marry a housewife. Except you have all the money in the world and you can take care of her and the money is always flowing in. But starting life, do not marry a housewife. Let your wife have something doing. Let her bring something to the table. That way, she becomes an asset. That way, your money on her will bring more money, right? Don't spend on just for spending's sake. Wisdom for knowledge is always turn your liabilities to assets. Always turn your liabilities to assets. If you are paying NEPA bill, for your office, make sure that office generates multiple of that money. If you are paying house rent in your house, make sure you use that light in your house somehow for your side business to bring more money. Whatever you spend your money on, find a way to convert it to an asset. Convert everything you spend your money on into an asset. That way you have streams of money flowing in. You have diverse ways to earn money. That way you can never be poor. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. I hope you have value. Turn your liabilities to assets and feed your assets. Turn your liabilities to assets and then feed your assets. Okay? These 7 things, if you avoid them, you will be rich. Nothing can stop you from being rich. Every successful person knows this. All right? Number 1, from the bottom, do not spend more on liabilities than on assets. Number 2, do not live a ceremonial life. People are broke. You have see people that were rich before who are broke today because they lived a ceremonial life when they had money. They thought money will always come. Money is like a liquid. It flows. If it is with you today, there's no guarantee it will remain with you forever. It will flow. So while it is with you, you have to make the best use of it. If you want to birth with it, birth with it. If you want to drink it, drink it. If you want to do anything, do something that will sustain it or will influence it to stay around you forever. Is that clear? Is that clear? The third one we mentioned from the bottom is investing without knowledge. Don't invest where you don't have knowledge. Never invest, never take any business offer, never take any investment offer if you have not studied that platform or that offer. People waste money on everything. I don't want to mention the names. They just jump into everything they see around and they will never be sticky. They will never, they will never be consistent on any of them. They don't. So they end up wasting their money instead of making money from the investments. The fourth one we mentioned was living to please others. People live to please others. They want to drive the latest car in town when their income cannot afford it. They want to send their kids to the best schools when their income can't afford it. They want to wear designers when their income cannot afford it. Don't be that person. Don't live to please anybody. Number 2, the third one was relocating to a new place all the time. If you have the habit of touring town, living everywhere, every year you must move to a new location. You are spending money, you are wasting money without knowing. You are wasting money without knowing. You should be able to live in a place for a long period of time. If you're for instance, if you are getting to a new place, you paint it, you fix it, you should live till that thing you fixed wear out completely before you start thinking of moving to the next place. All right. The second thing we mentioned was Buying what you don't need. How this one is very popular. People in our generation buy things they don't need. They wonder why they are not rich. So don't buy what you don't need. Don't spend your money on wants. Before you buy something, make sure that thing will be used. People pay for my trainings and never attend them. And I used to wonder, why will you pay for a training you won't attend? Why? And that is the same habit they use in buying things, in getting things. They just want to do so that others will know they are doing. Whereas it shouldn't be so. Don't spend your money on things you don't need. Don't spend your money on things you will not make use of. The first one we mentioned was starting a new relationship all the time. Young people are broke, especially boys and men, all right, young men are broke because they are looking for new relationships to start all the time. They have 3 lovers, 2 partners, 4 partners. Some can't even count. Why should you have multiple relationships? It takes your money, it chops your money, it makes you waste your money, your hard-earned money. Why don't you make the woman you have perfect? Why don't you get patient with your woman? Why don't you make sure before you toast a woman or make her your partner, your lover, that person deserves, has the basic things you want in a woman? Why don't you check her out, all right, to be sure this person has the basics you would like to have in a woman before you go into it. Don't start new relationships all the time. It takes your money without your knowing. That is all I've got for you. I hope it adds value to you. I hope it's blessed your life. My name is Zion Bassi, your favorite brand development consultant. I speak, I write, I brand businesses all over the world. Right? If you want to, if this training makes sense to you, do well to subscribe to the YouTube channel and do well to drop your comments. Till I come your way again, keep walking the pathway of ultimate productivity. Bye-bye.